Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's premium review in which we are taking a look at the British Hurricane Mark 1 LFAAM sitting at 2.3 battle rating. This is basically very similar to the Hurricane Mark 1 and they always used to be great planes. Fantastic to look at some premiums the coming week because of course we are right smack in the middle of the 8th anniversary of War Thunder and we're gonna get shit tons of discounts, 50% discounts on all premiums in game, and it's gonna be great. So let's focus a little bit on the premiums and check them out. I can't review them all, but I have reviewed almost 120 of them, so check my other reviews if you are looking for a specific plane. Gaijin is gonna announce pretty soon which planes are gonna be made available. Also the disappeared, the removed premiums are gonna be back, or at least some of them, and they're gonna announce that soon. So be sure to check that out, and we are going to look at this Hurricane right now and see what this thing can do. As I said, 2.3 battle rating. The Hurricanes has always been a lovely line for me, but flying this one out I noticed something that really piqued my attention, and that is the rudder and the effect of the rudder. She rolls off center, and once you are rolling, the rudder can give you some problems getting the final aim on the plane that you are aiming to shoot down. Now I have never really noticed that it was this bad in the past. I was almost like, did I forget this? Did I really forget this? Because my memory of the Hurricanes was very good. But I thought to myself, there have been very many flight model changes in the recent past. And the Hurricanes could have been affected because I have never experienced a rudder problem like this in the Hurricanes. Not like this. It really put a damper on the experience, especially when rolling to get the final aim on a target. But anyway, he just pulls you off where you were aiming, right? Anyway, let's first look at the speeds in this plane. The maximum speed in this Hurricane at sea level without WEP is 405 kilometers an hour, and with WEP 436. At 4,500 meters this is 392 without and 409 with, and finally at 6,500 meters she'll go up to 600, sorry, 600, wouldn't that be nice? 364 without WEP and 367 with WEP. Now there's almost no more difference there between with or without WEP at 6,500 meters, and she is not the best on altitude, this Hurricane, but the speed drop is not too bad from sea level to that high altitude. So there is that, just the WEP is not functioning anymore at that point. The top speed in a dive is 627 before she redlines and 695 before she rips apart. Now these speeds are nothing spectacular. She is not very fast in a straight line, and she's also not very fast in a dive. And the ripability between 627, which is the red line, and 695 is there when you make some more maneuvers in the plane to get a target or something. There's also compression. The control stiffening starts at 400 kilometers an hour, and the second tick lies at 600 kilometers an hour, which is the more severe one on the roll rate. The elevator stays reasonably functional up until the rip speed, and after that it becomes a little bit worse. Lies very close to 600 as well, but the plane is very nice to fly as a more of a jack of all trades that can't do anything right. Not very right. Her details lie in the turn fighting. That's where she shines. That's where her forte is. The limited dive speed doesn't make it a great boom and zoomer, and she's not fantastic in the performance that she is one of the greatest energy fighters out there. But it is definitely a plane that can do everything reasonably well. So a jack of all trades with a focus on turn fighting is what I would call this plane, and that is definitely how you should use it. Now the stall speed in this plane is 110 kilometers an hour, so that is actually quite nice. It's not supported by vertical energy retention, that is great, that is only average. and it does have good climb rate though. So there's 2 of 3 factors that count into stall maneuvers that are pretty decent in this plane. The firepower is very good with 8 7.7 Browning machine guns with 350 rounds per gun, and I use stealth in these matches with a 600 meter convergence. There is no bombs or rockets on this plane, so it is just purely a fighter with guns, and pretty straightforward there. The ammo loads are great, can't say otherwise. You do sometimes get a mixing result on what you get for effectiveness of these guns, but if you aim in the right places, then you will definitely get an effect. The plane is obviously good to get pilot snipes with so many rounds filling the the air. So aiming for the pilot is definitely a good idea in this plane. The acceleration in a straight line is good. In a dive it is also good, so for both variations, good acceleration. The energy retention in the horizontal is decent. Nothing spectacular there. She doesn't hold her energy too great when you come out of a dive, trying to keep the energy up. And in the vertical, the energy retention is average. Does lose speed in the vertical, and yeah, it's not great there. So it's you gotta really be careful of that stall speed, which is quite good. You gotta pay attention to that, and you know, take into mind which plane you are fighting, because against some better energy fighters than this one, the vertical maneuvers might be very risky. The climb rate in the plane is good. Now she can turn, as I said, as her main forte. The turn time is good and very good with flaps. The flaps though are only functional until 350 kilometers an hour, where they will rip off. And that is quite an early rip, 350 kilometers an hour. With the acceleration this plane has, you also reach that speed fairly quickly in your dive. And yeah, it's risky to use. In loops you can already reach the 350 easily when you reach the bottom of your loop. And so yeah, it's gonna take some good management, flap management on this Hurricane to keep them on. And I've lost them here or there because I didn't remember where the flaps were initially with the Hurricane, but I quickly rediscovered that. Roll rate in the plane is average, it rolls off center. It has 2 ticks where it rolls off center in the whole roll, and that is fairly bad. I've not seen that happen with lots of planes. So this plane definitely has a rudder issue, which really is problematic when you go above. Well, I think 450. When you go above that, you get into the trouble range where that rudder is really playing up. In the beginning it's not too bad, but it becomes worse and worse as you pick up speed. So yeah, you got to keep that in mind, and preferably not move while you make your final approach, and just keep the plane in the angle that you approach. But yeah, if people move, then you can't keep that angle and you're gonna have that rudder problem. So yeah, we gotta live with it, I guess, until Gaijin fixes it. Or maybe it was actually in the plane. But I don't remember this major problem for the Hurricanes before. Maybe I just have a bad memory. I mean, I'm getting older. But I mean, you know what I mean. I don't remember it. I have a good memory of the Hurricane, not this huge issue with this rudder, but it does have it now. That's for sure. Overheating in the plane is below average. It is present, but definitely manageable. And you use a lot of web, the plane will overheat, and you just gotta manage it to make sure that you don't overheat the plane. Durability in the plane is decent. It can definitely take a hit or two, but it is not spectacular either. So bit of a mixed bag there. So overall, to look at this plane, I think it was definitely worth the time to get after this plane, and not a bad plane to have. The British do have a lot of Hurricanes already though, and this plane really is nothing more or less than a Hurricane Mark 1, and there is nothing special to it in that sense, just the added rewards that you get on this plane, and it functions well for that if you want it for that. But rank 2 Bridge have a lot of interesting premiums that are more rare than this one, give you something new, and I would advise you to go after those. For example, the boomerangs, if I'm not mistaken, are in rank 2 as well, and they are much more interesting in my opinion. For example, just an example. But yeah, this Hurricane is definitely a good plane, and you can definitely get a lot of good results in it. So it's not bad in that sense. You can definitely go for it. But I don't think they will make this plane available, to be honest, because it's a recent addition, and they usually don't add the additions from the running patch to these kinds of anniversary sales. So I usually only do the older ones, but that means a lot of old stuff is becoming available. That is awesome, and I will definitely link the my playlist for British and for actually maybe I will do the all my reviews on the premium review, so you can check them out and see what you might want to get when they announce the list. But yeah, a Hurricane is not bad, at all. She's definitely joyful to fly. There's downsides on this this rolling, but in a turn fight she can still wreak havoc, and you know, if you keep her under control, the problem is workable. But yeah, with that rudder issue as well, it is not the best premium that you can go for in the long list of premiums that the Brits have available. But the plane on itself is decent, absolutely. And you can have some nice matches with your teammates and stuff like that. With a squad, it's always fun to fly a plane like this. Lower tiers are exceptionally fun. A lot of high skill pilots are also flying here, so you regularly have good dogfights with people that know what they're doing. We've got Terror of the Sky, bulletproof, 83,000 Silver Lions and 16,000 research points. I'll see you in the conclusion. Hey guys, so here we are after the match. Now this Hurricane Mark 1, it is interesting, but yeah, as I said, it's very similar to the Hurricane Mark 1 late. And I mean, with this rudder issue, I would be in doubt to buy it, because you already have the Hurricane Mark 1 late in your regular collection. This one doesn't really add something spectacularly new, and it has a rudder issue that is quite problematic, especially if you are an early pilot. This rolling off center and your final approach, especially at high speeds, is gonna be interesting to say the least, to get your guns on target. And that's from me, a person who played War Thunder Air for 7.5 years. I can't really recommend it. I would go for something else in the rank 2 Brits. There is many planes that are interesting there, and there's a lot of options, things that you don't find in a regular tree, and I would go for something like that before getting a sort of a replica of something in the regular tree. Especially now with these rudder issues being so bad, I would definitely not advise you to buy this thing, even though it's a good plane, but I would get the Hurricane experience from the Hurricanes in the regular tree and focus on some of the other premiums and really get yourself something special like a boomerang or something. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.